ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदन्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमाओ विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम् यः पिबन् रामचरितामृतसागरम् अतृप्तस्य मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेत समकल्मषम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। उल्लंघ्य सिंधो सलिलं सलीलं च शोकवनिं जनकात्मजाय आदाय तेनैव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयं वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्टपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रभाञ्जनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परम् व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिष्कृतं रामं भजे श्यामलं रामं भजे श्यामलं। Hare Krishna. We will move on to this week's session. Just a sec. Okay. Now, for a quick recap of the prior week, please, I'll give you a very broad view of what happened initially. It's a very big chapter, 109, and from there, the rest you can take forward. What is the title here? Rama refutes Jabali. So first, Rama, as part of his refutal, is saying people who follow Vedic norms. What is the importance of following Vedic norms? Why only by conduct one becomes a noble person? Non-righteous cannot expect to abide. You cannot expect them. Need to for responsible behavior. Yes, that truthfulness is what actually pervades. It's the highest. So we had a separate class only on truthfulness being the highest principle and perceptions about truthfulness. Then we had a segment where we talked about reincarnation, which was part of a class, and why reincarnation, what are the aspects that favor reincarnation, what is the proof that is coming from Charaka Samhita for reincarnation, Jiva Goswami's arguments on the same, etc. And then we went on to see a principle about humanity. Then Rama says, if my father was bound by the truth, why am I not bound by the truth? Why should I abide in any way differently? And therefore he comes to Ubuntu. We spoke about that as a principle to say uh, that actually we have to exist for the sake of humanity. We are all part of humanity, and what we do is going to influence the rest of humanity. And therefore, um, you know, we should be living a responsible lives. And then Rama makes points like Satya is my actual integral part of me. Yes, every cell of mine. Truthfulness is sought by all things that are good. Yes, and one gets everything that is good from truthfulness. And then he says, your recommendation is not uh, sane at all, etc. And then he says, I made this promise in front of my father, in front of Kaikeyi. It made her happy. I'm happy leading a pure life in the forest. All this logic is given. That was a separate class. We dealt with um, some of these principles. And then Rama gets on to the case of Jabali. And then he talks about how these good actions take us to attain heaven. Carrying out prescribed duties are important. Then Rama gets on his father's case. Okay, from here we move on to what happened in the last week. So can I hear from everybody here? Anybody, can you please give me some points on where we left the prior week? What were the some major points that we touched upon in the
Hare
prior
Krishna,
week?
Prabhu.
Yes, Giant.
Prabhu, we discussed that how Jabali gave this different counter statements to basically convince Lord Rama to return to Ayodhya. And therefore, please Bharata, because Bharata had this desire that Lord Rama returns back to Ayodhya and takes up the position of being the king. And
Very nice.
therefore, Jabali, he basically showed his, I'm not able to keep it properly, but in the sense showed a different view of himself totally, which contradicted his personality just to convince Lord Rama. And then last part, he also says that he's asking for forgiveness for Lord Rama. He agrees to whatever Lord Rama says, but then also says that I just did that so that you return back to Ayodhya.
Very nice. तो बहुत बार ऐसे हो जाता है in life. We see somebody does something wrong and then he says, oh no, just for वैसे मजाक में करवा दिया. So that kind of a statement needs substantiation, that we will see today as substantiation. Thank you, Jayank. That was you hit the nail in the head. That was the major point out of that. But last week we had a lot of Tarka, Vada, Nyaya. So where was that from? Somebody else? Jeev
Hare Krishna,
Jago,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhu, you can go on. We also spoke on various aspects of Buddhism. It seems Jabali spoke on a lot of Buddhism. So 9 points about Buddhism. Majorly that that it's only me, but then if it's only me, then what about others? And there's so many aspects was we touched on Buddhism. 9 points. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we looked at the 9 main points of Buddhism. Can anybody give me any 1 or 2 points that stuck to your head from the previous discussion, and how it contrasts with the Vedic principle? Whatever
Prabhu,
you remember.
Prabhuji, like last time we like studied a lot of concepts that were not correct or incorrect of Buddha. Like Buddha is the knowledge of everything, so that is a bit wrong. And also we were discussing that Buddha he believed that the world was all just a dream. Means that was wrong because if it is all just a dream, then how are we seeing each other and how are we like communicating with each other? How do we know about Vedic culture? So that is also wrong. So that is one feature I've learned.
Thank you. Who's that speaking?
Prabhuji, I'm from Radha Saki Devi Mataji's like
What's your name?
Shaurya.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Who else? Somebody else? Nice points there. Thank you. Shaurya, thank you. Somebody else? Okay. Let me give you quickly the 9 main points. Yeah, somebody there?
This, what I can remember that we discussed, Buddhists also say that annihilation or kind of nirvana is the ultimate goal, but that's not true if we see in the Vedic parlance. That's what I remember. One of the points, bro.
Thank you. Thank you, Simran. Somebody else? Okay. I move on quickly to touch upon the 9 points, and then we have today's section to deal. The creation always existed. That's point 1. Then the fact that the world is completely false, and then I am is the ultimate truth. I am, and that's all. I am. It's not even I am that. It is I am, and I'm here, and that's the actual truth. There are a lot of principles that Buddhism accepts about transmigration, believes in, but it's very rudimentary. Then the belief that in 2 ways that Lord Buddha is the only source of attainment of knowledge, and Buddhist philosophy is the only way. It's a dual principle there which are clubbed into each other. Then the Buddhist theory that annihilation of nirvana is the ultimate goal. Then the Buddhist belief that Vedanta is the Vedas are compiled by ordinary humans, and it is stated is mercy is one of the major qualities for the Buddhists. This was more or less in summary what we looked at. Finally, as Jayant had summed up, Jabali mentions about why he spoke that philosophy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's very easy. Prabhu, main aise mazak mein bol diya. When somebody says like this, and when there is a refutal or there is a disagreement, then just that person and these 2 people talking to each other is not good enough. You need a third person to substantiate. Yes, Prabhu, I know him. This is not his philosophy. Yes, that's the role that Vashishta is playing here. So Vashishta is clearing up the scene for Jabali. He says, Jabali api janite. Jabali knows. What does he know? Lokasya asya gata gatim. That in this world people come and go. It is not that he is not aware of reincarnation of Rama. Then he says, in a very short, just 2 lines, and I'm quoting only part of those 2 shlokas there. Then he says, Nivrittaitu kamastu tvam. Nivrittaitu, that you return, kamastu, with that desire, tvam, you. Etad vakyam uktavan. He spoke these vakyas, these words, or these sentences had been spoken by him in that spirit. And then he says, Rama, I have something to tell you. And then he is basically starting from creation, moving on to the whole lineage of Rama to make a particular point. What's the point he is coming to make? Let's see. Sarvam salilam eva asti prithvi yatra nirmitaha. He said first, sarvam salilava eva asti. First there were only water everywhere. And prithvi yatra nirmitaha. From there, Prithvi or the earth had been created. Okay. So the ocean was all that was there and the earth was created on it. That's the first point that's been made. Then he says, Savaraha tato bhutva projahara vasundaram. So Sa Varaha, then the Varaha, the Lord, came with his tusk and lifted Bhumi and placed her on top of the earth. Projahara vasundara, that the earth had been placed. And then Brahma created the entire world with his sons who were very, very disciplined. This is being mentioned. So the earth had fallen into Rasatala, it had been lifted and put in its place. Akasha Prabhavo Brahma. Then the next statement he makes is Akasha. The word Akasha basically refers to the Brahman. So why there is some little Vada and Tarka, we will look at that particular concept. We're not going to skip that. So Brahma had been created. The self-effulgent Lord, from the self-effulgent Lord was born Brahma, and to Brahma Marichi, and then Marichi to Kashyapa, etc. So the word Akasha here, literally meaning sky, refers to the Supreme Brahman or refers to Narayana. Akasho, in another place earlier in Balakanda, it says Avyakta Prabhavo Brahma. This comes in Balakanda much earlier. That from the unmanifest, the self-effulgent Lord was born, Brahma was born from him. So Baldev Vidyabhushan is also explaining this. Akasha sadasha cha vyakta vyapakatvat. And what is he trying to say? Akasha is used to refer to the Supreme Soul because he is all pervading and because he does not mix with what he pervades. Yes, Akasha is space, and Akasha may be entrapped within the body, but it does not mix with the body. Akasha can be entrapped within a pot, but it cannot become part of this thing. Like that, the Lord is pervading everywhere. Akasha is also known in the scripture to refer to the Supreme Soul. So that statement there was an interesting Akasha Prabhavo Brahma, that from the Supreme Lord, and not just the Avyakta representing him, and he's born from the lotus, from the navel of the Lord. And then comes the birth of Ikshvaku, which is the favorite verse that we hear in the Bhagavad Gita, which has the word Ikshvaku. Somebody? There's a Bhagavad Gita verse which has the word Ikshvaku.
Imam,
Manurikshvakve Pravit.
Very nice. Vivaswan Manave
Praha.
Manurikshvakuve Abravit. So from Vivaswan Surya, Manave Praha, Manu was born, and to Manu was born Ikshvaku. So Manu, the progenitor of Manushya, he gave the first kingdom to Ikshvaku. So if you see, we had seen one chapter which is Bhagavad Gita within Ramayana. Now we are seeing a Ramayana hint within Bhagavad Gita. Also, it comes in a couple of other spaces where you see the mention of Kapidwaja, where Hanuman is being referred to as being the Dwaja on Arjuna's, and Ramaha Shastra Pratamaham, that I am Rama out of those who have Shastra. These are the two that I know. If anybody is aware of any other reference in the Gita to Ramayana, there's a reference to Janaka.
Janak
Astita
Maharaj in third
Janaka,
chapter. Yeah, third chapter. Yeah.
Astita Janakadaya. What else? Is there any other? Thank you. That was an interesting contribution. Any other? Okay. So we see that Ikshvaku was the first king of Ayodhya. Ayodhya Namanagari. Tatra Loka Vishruta Manur Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmita Swayam. Yapuri Nirmita Swayam. He himself created that Ayodhya. So that is the speciality of Ayodhya Puri. Now, thanks to all the resurgence, Ayodhya is coming back to its original glory. It can never actually touch its original glory, but it's becoming glorious. It had been a complete decrepit space, totally suffering from neglect over so many years because of this dispute and all of this stuff. We hope Ayodhya will come back to its original glory. So Ikshvaku's son was named Kukshi, and then his son was named Vikukshi, and then there is Bana, then there is Anaranya. Anaranya is a name I've never really heard, but here Vashishta is giving some adjectives for Anaranya to say that he was the best of the saintly kings, because when he was ruling, there was no drought, there was no famine, there was not even a thief. Such a great person, Anaranya. Interesting name, yes, Aranya, Anaranya. Hemarupa Prabhu is sharing a verse for all of us. Let me see if I can read that. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadayah loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. Thank you, Prabhu. And the meaning, can somebody read the meaning for me? So Anaranya's son was Prithu Maharaj the Great, and his son was Trishanku. Now, what is Trishanku famous for? What is Trishanku famous for?
For creating a
Portal.
heaven, like between earth and actual heaven.
Yeah, whatever he did, he was able to get somebody to create that for him in one sense. And actually, if you see who is mentioning this, Vashishta is mentioning this, because who created it? It was Vishwamitra. So Mataji is, Radha Sakhi Mataji is sharing. Kings such as, can somebody read the translation? She just shared on the chat.
Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
So literally, thank you so much. Literally, Rama is speaking the same thread here. If you see, the Gita is talking about Janaka and ascribing it to him, that he performed as though he was not bound. And then that famous example is given about Janaka, about the city being in fire and he is not being disturbed by that. So great personalities. Now Prithu's son Trishanku, for whom a separate Swarga was created. Trishanku's son was Dundumara, Yuvanashva, and then Mandhata, Susandhi, Durvasandhi, and then Bharata, the great. Now listen, it's an interesting side story that we are getting to it. There is a great sage by name, another great king that was born to Bharata. Great? How great? His name was Ashita. He was not a very powerful person, though he was born to Bharata, who was a great, strong, valiant king. So what happened when Ashita was there? He was being attacked by the Haihayas, Talajanhas, and various Sasha Bindus and various other enemies. Because of having all these enemies, he could not hold the fort. So what he did was he retreated to the Himalayas. He retired, ran away, literally. So the Ashita story is not a very interesting section for the Ikshvaku Vamsha or the Raghu Vamsha, and we will see that happen. So we've touched upon this story before. Can somebody tell me where we heard the story of Ashita? Well, we heard this when we heard the Rama Pravara. Before Sita and Rama got married, the whole lineage of Rama is being given. At that time, we had looked at the detailed history of some of them. So Ashita had 2 wives, and the wives were conspiring with each other. And though they got the blessings of Chavana, one of them had a beautiful baby. So when she was pregnant, the other one gave poison. So the word Gara refers to poison. And the one who was born despite being poisoned was Sagara, and he became the source of Sagara, he being the father of Sagara, the oceans. So that was a great personality that comes, Sagara, and from him. Now, you see, this Bharata and Bharata's son, Ashita, not very special. And Ashita's son, Sagara, became a great personality. And Sagara's son, again, Asamanjasa, another downway trend. Asamanjasa, we heard the story of Asamanjasa. Anybody can give us a clue? What did he do, right or wrong?
He used to chastise the citizens of Ayodhya, and this was mentioned during the discussion what we had during the Kaikai and the
Very nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
So yes,
Very nice.
she gave an example like yeah.
Give us a little more detail there.
She gave the example to Dasharatha that you have such an dynasties wherein you have such and such person. So, but then so it's okay so for you to, but then still you have to obey. And there are so many interesting things happening.
This
I
sounds
don't
like
remember
the
fully.
husband and wife when the husband and wife are having a difference and a fight, they say,
Yeah.
"Tumhara family mein kya hai? Tumhara family mein
Yeah.
aise aise log the." Literally like that. But actually, she is quoting this to say that in your family, you have had an example before where the first son has been banished from the kingdom. And then who reacts to that? Can somebody give me a background to it? We just in Ayodhya Kanda, we have done this possibly 6 months ago. Who reacts to that? Anybody else? Other than Hemarupa Prabhu, I know he's got the answer.
I think it was Sumitra or Vasishta Muni. I'm not sure.
You came very close. You spelled it a little different. I think it was Sumantra.
Yeah, Sumantra. So Sumantra. Yeah.
So Sumantra gets on her case and he said, this is absurd. In fact, Dasharatha says, Dik. So what a comparison she's giving. How could she go stoop this low? So Asamanjasa was somebody who used to pick up the little children in Ayodhya and throw them into the river and would be very cruel upon his people and stuff like that. So the king saw that this is a crazy guy. So he packed him up with his wife, put him on a chariot, sent him into the forest, banished him. So to that Asamanjasa, now you see, so somebody can say, you see, when Asamanjasa was there, then they threw him out of the kingdom and they put the second son, the one next to him as king. Vashishta is saying, no, it is Asamanjasa's son, Anshuman, who was made the king next. So he say, even there we don't skip a beat. It's always the first son. Why should it be different? That's the point he's coming to. So he says Asamanjasa's son Anshuman was put in there, and Anshuman's son was Dilipa. Dilipa's son was Bhagiratha, from whom Ganga came, therefore Bhagirathi. It's a beautiful name for Ganga. Bhagirathi Sukadhaini Mataha. There's a very beautiful composition. If I'm right, it is Shankara Kriti on the glory of Ganga. So this comes from there. So Bhagiratha was from Bhagiratha. Bhagiratha was born Kakutstha, from whom we use this term Kakusta Dutam Baje, yes, for Rama and Rama's lineage, that whole. And from Kakutstha was born Raghu, and therefore Raghava, therefore Raghukula, all of those names come from there. To Raghu, such a great personality from whom the whole Kula, if we say Raghukulu Riti, oh Raghukul ka Riti, his immediate son was a problem. Raghu's son was a problem. He was also known as Kalmashapada, Purushadaka. Purushada. Can somebody tell me where Purushada comes as a word? Bhagavatam. Kunti Stuti. Purushada Darshana. Asat Sabayam. Vanavasa Krichrataha. Bride. Again and again and again. The Pandavas faced difficulty, and one of the difficulty is Purushada. Bhima had to face that cannibal. So Purushada is somebody who eats Purusha. Mind you, Ravana was also part of the same party. So this person became a cannibal, literally, Kalmashapada, and then he had been cursed by Vashishta himself. Kalmashapada's son was Shankhana. And what happened to Shankhana? Kalmashapada, because of his strength, he killed his own son. So there was a problem there because he became possessed by a Rakshasa. He became like that. So even they say, even there, Shankana's son, Sudarshana, was the person who was made the next king. So he says, even if there was a beep, the first son was picked up in the next lineage, in the next generation, to make things right. So
Prabhu,
then,
sorry, I have a little doubt here. Then in the Dhritarashtra's case, we see Yudhishthira being favored and not Duryodhana. Like Dhritarashtra was the elder one. Is my understanding right? Or?
You're right. Now, there are 2-3 ways we can look at this. First is, each of them, this is the Surya Vamsha, that is the Chandra Vamsha. So there are two different Vamshas. Vamsha Riti can be very different. You can make differences, you can make accommodations in different ways. Now, there are also rules. We need to understand there are also rules. When you see, now, when was Pandu made the king? At that time, none of these people had children. You need to understand that both of these people were begotten at a time when there was nobody to rule, and therefore Bhishma was holding the fort for them. So they were waiting for these guys to actually be born and then start ruling. So even before they had their sons, to wait for Dhritarashtra to have Duryodhana, that was there was no wait time that was available. So they had to crown somebody immediately. Now, born blind right in the beginning, how is he going to actually rule this thing? If there is an attack, how is he going to manage? So Pandu also had a problem. Pandu had vitiligo. He went fair. Pandu means light skinned. So, but he was a great Veera, and therefore, seeing that circumstance, they actually picked up Pandu and they made him king. But once they were able to see what had happened, and you see the next generation was full of, there are 100 fellows, other than one of those 100, everyone was an Asamanjasa. So what are you going to do? You're going to give the kingdom to them? So yes, there are many intricacies, and based on the circumstance, they have had to make decisions. So the first point I'm making is the decision to crown Pandu was even before Dhritarashtra any issues happened to them. Point one. Second is, as soon as Dhritarashtra had issues, Vidura told him that these kids are going to put you into trouble. Very clearly known that these were some more Asamanjasas in the making. Therefore, it was not possible to support the concept that Duryodhana should get the kingdom. And that's why people like people who really knew were not on that side, but people who were bound like Bhishma had to be on that side. I hope that answers it.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
But I have to say, the intricacies of Ramayana and Mahabharata and all these details requires a lot of study and background, which I sincerely don't have. This is from the background that I have answered. There may be many other reasons to it. If I get to any of them, if any of you have any more reasons, please feel free to share and contribute and enrich the forum with that knowledge. Thank you, Mataji, for bringing that question. That was an interesting, detour to take into Mahabharata. Thank you. So Sudarshana was born to Shankana, who got killed by his father, and then Agnivarna and Shigraka was the next son. From him was Maru, Prashushruka, and from him was born Ambarisha. Nahusha, Nabaga, these are many of these names we also hear in the Bhagavatam. And from Nabaga was Aja, and from Aja is a beautiful name, yeah, very short, very modern, very usable in many ways. Very few people use it though. Aja, and Dasharatha was born from Aja. So having come to that, then Vasishta makes this mention to Rama. Now, before I talk about the rest, I want to go back to the lineage. I went back and looked at Rama Pravara, and I noticed 2-3 things that sounded a little different, but I wanted to share what I observed with all of you. First is, in the whole dynasty, I have to say there were 2-3 people who went funny. One was Trishanku, who went against Vasishta, so he went funny. Ashita was incapable, didn't go funny, was incapable, didn't have the necessary capabilities to be a king. And Asamanjasa was the problem that we already discussed in detail. And then we spoke about Kalmashapada, who was also known as Purushadaka, the cannibal. So even in Rama's dynasty, we see many times in Tamil there is a saying, Tai ettadi panja puli kutti 16 payu. Yes, that if the mother tiger or lion jumps 8 feet, the young one will jump 16 feet. But sometimes the young one can jump 4 feet. That is also possible. So we see those reversals also. and we should all be. See, within lineages, you have patches. Within Manvantaras, there are some Manvantaras which are glorious because of the special presence and avatar of Krishna, or the special avatar of Mahaprabhu, or the types. Yes, while um, um, and then some yugas are special within that. Within that, you have some particular segments. Yes, you have this yuga, Kali Yuga having its speciality, etc. Within that, some segments can be very, very special. In a similar manner, within Vamshas, there can be some very great people, and there can be down years. Similarly, within times that we see within our lives, within generations, you can see some people shine and some people be low. Yes, and then within our own lives, there are parts of our life where we make mistakes. There are parts of our life that can be glorious. Within our lifetime, there can be years which can be special. There can be years which can be bad. There can be months, there can be days, there can be parts of a day where we are influenced by Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So there, you know, change is something that we should always expect and be ready for. So having mentioned these three, the other thing I want to make a mention is, when the Pravara happened, I saw this name Yuvanashva, and I went and checked. In the list that I wrote for Pravara, I don't have this name there. So from Dundumara, straight away there is Vashishta is maintaining, is talking about Mandata. Sometimes they may rule for a very short while, therefore skip. So I don't know why Vashishta skipped this. But he's a great personality, so we'll give him credit for that. And the next is, I also noticed that the Yayati is not being mentioned. After Nahusha, Nabhaga is coming. Yayati is not being mentioned in Ayodhya Kanda, but it had been mentioned in Balakanda. So this was the other interesting observation that I had, which I wanted to share with everybody here. After having shared the entire lineage, and after explaining this, the preference for the first son, how does Vashishta conclude? He says, you are known far and wide as Rama, and you are the eldest son. You accept your kingdom and look after people in the kingdom. Rajyam aveksha janam nripa. Rajyam aveksha, oversee the kingdom. Aveksha janaha, oversee the people and be king. That's the instruction that Vashishta is giving to him. And then he says, Purvaje Navarah Putraha, the second in the past, the second has never become king. Purvaje Navarah Putra Jeshto Rajye Abhishinchyate. Jeshta is always the one who gets coronated. So he's giving this fact to Rama. So now, in a similar manner, you see how much importance is being given to what the predecessors of the Ikshvaku Vamsha is being done. I mentioned this earlier. There was a small note I wanted to read that from the Ramayana book. Our Vidwan Gauranga Prabhu has added this to say how the predecessors Acharyas understood, practiced, and propagated the various aspects of Bhakti Yoga on the basis of spiritual authority must be taken into consideration to attain success in Bhakti Vichara, Bhakti Achara, and Bhakti Prachara. Three aspects: Bhakti Vichar, Bhakti Achar, and Bhakti Prachar. In these areas, how the predecessors wanted to present, how they used it, needs to be taken into account. Indeed, the fourth item of sadhana bhakti is sadhu vartmanu vartanam. Vartanam. Sadhu vartma anuvartanam. So, whatever the sadhus, the great people who have given us examples, we need to follow. So, that point is being mentioned here by Vashishta. And then he says, Sa Ragavanam Kula Dharmam Atmanaha Sanatanam Nadya vihantumarhasi na adya, today at this point in time, na vihantum, please don't disturb that. This is Sanatanam, Kula Dharmam Sanatanam. It has been coming in the Raghukula. So please don't disturb that. And then he says, Prabhuta Ratnanam Anushadi Medinim. Prabhuta Ratnanam. It is filled. Please understand, this kingdom is just filled with coffers, filled with fantastic valuables and jewels and all of that. Anushadi. Sishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Please rule me. I am your disciple. Please rule me. That is why you see all grahasthas, when they get married, after that they are ruled by their wives, because they do shadi. This is my new interpretation. But that's how that Hindi word and the Sanskrit word differ. So shadimam, shishyasteham shadimam. My father would make this joke and say that when the husband says shishyasteham shadimam, he says, I'm your disciple, I'm married to you. So here the word anushadi is being used. Prabhuta Ratna Anushadi Medhini. So much jewels and valuables are there. Rule this earth, which is in this manner. And Prabhuta Rashtram Pitrivat Mahayashaha. Prabhuta Rashtram. And what a huge kingdom that is coming. Pitrivat, coming to you. Just like your father. What should you do? Mahayashaha. Because you are such a glorious person. You. So in the second half, why he is saying Mahayasha is saying, Rama, when your father decided to make you king, he has inquired with so many people and he got a nod from everybody. Yes, whether it is the neighboring kings that were there, whether it is the Brahmanas in the kingdom, whether it is the elders of the kingdom, whether it is all the mantris, whether it is all the priests that were there, he's got the chief people, and all of the people have even so much interest in becoming the subjects of Rama. So this is not a small thing. So therefore you have been chosen, Mahayashaha. You're the all glorious person because of that. So the greatly reputed Rama, you should not destroy the eternal family dharma of your relatives and the descendants of Raghu from today. Today you should not do that. Like your father, rule the extensive kingdom on earth, abundant with excellent items of value. Yes, this is the instruction that is being given, and he wants Rama to conserve the fantastic dharma of the family. But what is Rama going to do? That's for the next week. So my dharma is to finish one chapter, which I managed to today. So we will have an early Masalama this particular week. Do I have any questions and comments from anybody on the team? Questions, comments? Yay, I'm happy. There are no questions because questions tend to grill. Test the metal. Thank you very much. We'll close with this. Please switch on your mics for a quick Jaykar. And everybody, ready to go? Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai.
Yeah.
Jai.